Wishing you all abundant health and immense happiness, Gulo Klopo Official proudly presents to you the captivating legends of the archipelago stories, a truly remarkable collection.
The Legend of Dewi Sri, the origin of rice in the land of Java. Have you ever wondered where rice, the staple food that sustains life across Java, truly comes from? Beyond the golden fields and the fragrance of cooked grains lies a legend older than memory itself. It is a tale of divine birth, jealousy, sacrifice, and transformation. A story that whispers in the wind across the paddy fields, carried down through generations of Javanese people. At its heart is a celestial maiden whose destiny shaped the very foundation of human survival. This is the sacred legend of Dewi Sri, the goddess of rice. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace and blessings to all who listen. May you be granted good health, a long life, abundant fortune, and joy in every step of your journey. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and support this channel so that stories of our ancestors may continue to live and inspire. Tonight, we will uncover one of the most treasured tales from Java. A legend about the birth of rice, the food that unites families, cultures, and generations. This legend comes from the heart of Java, passed down through countless generations. It is more than a story. It is philosophy, a reflection of the Javanese way of life and their intimate relationship with nature. In Dewi Sri's tale lies the meaning of fertility, the blessing of the earth, and the eternal bond between humans and the land they till. To understand the origin of rice, we must return to the heavens. To the night a divine child was born whose destiny was bound to the survival of mankind. Long ago, when the earth was still young and the heavens were perfectly balanced, a divine emptiness lingered, a missing essence of life that had yet to descend upon the mortal world. On a sacred night, as the stars shimmered brighter than ever before, a baby was born in the heavenly realm. She was not like other children. Her skin glowed like the full moon, her hair shone like midnight silk, and her eyes radiated a calm light that soothed every soul who beheld her. The gods named her Sri, a name that symbolized purity, blessing, and eternal life. News of Sri's birth spread across the heavens like wildfire. The gods whispered that she was no ordinary child. She carried the essence of life itself, destined to bring balance between heaven, earth, and mankind. Wherever she was laid, the air smelled of blooming flowers. The rivers of heaven flowed clearer and sweeter, and celestial birds sang in celebration. The very fabric of the cosmos recognized her presence, proclaiming that she was a sacred envoy born to preserve harmony. But light does not rise without casting shadows. In the dark corners of the heavens, one being grew restless, Batara Guru, the ruler of darkness. His eyes blazed with envy, his heart burned with fear. If she grows, her light will erase my dominion, he hissed. From that moment, Dewi Sri was not only the hope of the gods but also the target of jealousy and hatred. A destiny of trials awaited her. Yet the gods were unyielding. They raised Sri with love and care, shielding her from the dark forces that prowled beyond the golden gates of the heavens. As years passed, she grew into a maiden of unparalleled beauty, her presence radiating serenity. Her voice calmed even the wildest storms, and wherever her feet touched, flowers blossomed in her path. She studied the mysteries of the universe, learning about the earth, fertility, and the secrets of life itself. Within her, the power of creation quietly bloomed, an essence that would one day shape the fate of all living beings. Dewi Sri blossomed into a maiden of incomparable beauty. Her face shone like the moon, her gaze was calm and tender, and her voice flowed as gently as the melodies of a gamelan, soothing every troubled heart. Whenever she walked through the heavenly gardens, flowers bloomed in dazzling colors, butterflies danced around her, and the wind carried the fragrance of blossoms. The gods and goddesses revered her presence, while celestial beings bowed with respect. Yet, the brighter her light shone, the deeper the shadow of envy grew within Batara Guru's heart. Batara Guru, Lord of Darkness, felt his dominion shrinking. He saw Dewi Sri as a threat that could erase his influence over the heavens. Night after night, he brooded in silence, weaving plots to rid the cosmos of her brilliance. "As long as she shines, darkness will never reign," he muttered, his voice like thunder that shook the very skies. His envy hardened into hatred, and hatred gave birth to cruel intentions. Unaware of the malice directed toward her, Dewi Sri lived her days with grace and kindness. She devoted herself to learning from the wise gods, absorbing the mysteries of life. How seeds sprout from the soil, how rain breathes life into the earth, and how the sun nourishes all beings. In her heart, she did not grow into a goddess of beauty alone. She became a goddess of wisdom. Her kindness only deepened the love and admiration others felt toward her. Celestial maidens longed to be by her side, while wise gods cherished every conversation with her. But with every admirer she gained, Batara Gulu's jealousy worsened. He began spreading whispers of deceit in the heavens, claiming that her presence was a harbinger of disaster. "Believe me," he said to impressionable young gods, "her light will bring calamity to us all." Yet Dewi Sri's wisdom shielded her from the poison of lies. She remained gentle, extending her hand to anyone in need. Even without setting foot on earth, she became a beacon of hope to gods and mortals alike. "I wish only to bring life," she once said with a smile as soft as dawn. Her words touched countless hearts, but to Batara Gulu, they were daggers that pierced deeper into his envy. His hatred burned fiercer, and the heavens trembled in silence, sensing the storm that was yet to come. The slander spread by Batara Gulu began to ripple through the heavens. Young and impressionable gods started whispering doubts among themselves. Could it be true? Will her light bring disaster? They muttered. Though the wise gods stood firmly by Dewi Sri's side, unease crept into the celestial palace. The once serene halls of the heavens now echoed with whispers of mistrust. Dewi Sri, with her pure heart, felt the weight of that unrest. She realized she had become the center of conflict. Batara Gulu grew bolder. He appeared before the high gods, accusing Dewi Sri of being the herald of calamity. "A light too bright will burn instead of guide," he thundered, his voice shaking the golden pillars. Some gods wavered, swayed by his words, while others remained steadfast in their faith that Dewi Sri was a blessing. Debate erupted in the heavens, and the balance of order began to tremble. Witnessing this turmoil, Batara Guru, the ruler of the heavens, grew troubled. He loved Dewi Sri dearly, yet as guardian of cosmic balance, he was bound to act. "Sri," he spoke heavily, "you are a light beyond measure, but if your presence brings discord, perhaps it is time you walk upon the earth." His words struck Dewi Sri's heart. She loved the heavens, but deep within, she felt the pull of the mortal world, a world awaiting life and hope. With tears held back, Dewi Sri accepted her fate. "If the earth truly needs me, then let it be so. I wish only to bring life," she whispered with gentle resolve. Celestial maidens wept, their hands reaching out to her, while the wise gods bowed in solemn silence. They knew this was destiny, a path none could change. And so, Dewi Sri prepared to leave the heavens, stepping onto the radiant staircase of light that bridged the sky and earth. The moment Dewi Sri's feet touched the earth, nature itself awakened in joy. The wind carried the fragrance of blossoms, trees shivered with life, and rivers flowed with newfound clarity. Birds sang melodious songs as though welcoming her arrival. The villagers who witnessed the golden light were awestruck, falling to their knees in reverence. Dewi Sri had come to the mortal realm, not merely as a goddess of the heavens, but as a beacon of hope for humankind. When Dewi Sri set foot upon the earth, she found a world vastly different from the heavens. Nature was beautiful but incomplete. Vast barren lands stretched between towering trees, waiting to be filled with life. Humans lived simply, surviving on fruits of the forest and hunted animals. Yet during times of drought, hunger gnawed at their frail bodies. Dewi Sri's heart trembled as she watched their suffering. For the first time, she understood why fate had brought her down. Humanity needed her light. Dewi Sri could not remain still. With graceful steps, she walked toward the first village she encountered. The air around her grew warm, flowers bloomed along her path, and birds began to sing as if celebrating her arrival. The villagers, startled by the radiant golden aura surrounding her, approached slowly with awe. Their eyes widened with reverence, for they recognized her not as an ordinary woman, but as a divine being sent to deliver them from hunger and despair. Day by day, Dewi Sri lived among humans. She taught them how to nurture the soil, dig canals, and guide water so that it would not be wasted. With her touch, barren earth turned fertile. With her presence, life bloomed. Villagers learned to cultivate wild plants, gathering roots, leaves, and fruits to sustain themselves. Yet, Dewi Sri knew this was not enough. Humanity needed a sacred plant, a source of nourishment so abundant and eternal that no hunger could ever defeat them again. Her beauty and kindness made the people love her, not only as a goddess but as a mother. Children ran happily to her embrace, and the elders prayed with deep gratitude for her presence. Yet far above, in the heavens, Batara Guru grew furious. From his dark throne he watched how humans adored Dewi Sri more with each passing day. Jealousy burned within him like fire. "If she thrives on earth, I will lose everything," he snarled. And so, in the shadows, he began to weave plans for her downfall. But Dewi Sri paid no attention to his hatred. Her heart remained devoted only to humans and the earth itself. Yet in the silence of night, she often looked up to the heavens, longing for her celestial home. Still, she never regretted her choice. She knew her destiny was to give humanity eternal life. Quietly, she whispered a prayer, that one day, mankind would understand the love she planted in every leaf, every root, every grain. That prayer would soon give birth to a miracle, the creation of rice, the sacred food of life. The village flourished under Dewi Sri's guidance, yet Batara Guru's hatred only deepened. From the heavens he unleashed calamities. Long seasons of drought, swarms of pests that destroyed the crops, and strange diseases that weakened the people. What was once fertile land now withered, and despair returned to the hearts of humankind. Watching their suffering, Dewi Sri's heart ached. She realized that as long as she remained alive, Batara Guru would never cease his wrath. With solemn acceptance, she prepared herself for the greatest sacrifice, her own life for the survival of mankind. One quiet night, Dewi Sri sat beside a river, her face illuminated by the pale glow of the moon. In a soft prayer-like whisper she spoke, "If my body must be the offering so that humanity may live, let it be so. From my flesh shall come eternal life." Tears slid down her cheeks and fell into the river, glowing faintly as they drifted downstream. At that moment, Dewi Sri knew her destiny was sealed. She must die so that a new world of sustenance could be born. The following morning, Dewi Sri gathered the villagers. With tender eyes, she said, "My children, do not grieve if I must leave you. My body shall return to the earth, but from it shall grow the plants that will feed you for all eternity." The villagers wept, clinging to her, begging her to stay. But Dewi Sri only smiled with infinite love, like a mother soothing her children before a long farewell. With sacred calmness, Dewi Sri lay down upon the barren field. Her body glowed in golden light as it slowly merged into the earth. Then, a wondrous miracle unfolded. From her head grew the coconut tree, giving fruit, water, and fiber for humankind. From her loins sprouted the sugar palm, bearing sweet sap and palm sugar. From her palms rose the banana tree, with nourishing fruit. From her teeth emerged corn, to sustain people in times of scarcity. From her hair grew golden rice, the sacred food of life. From her body hair spread creeping vines with hanging fruits. And from her feet sprang tubers beneath the soil, rich and filling. Every part of her became a gift, woven into the cycle of human survival. The villagers were awestruck, their tears flowing as they witnessed the miracle. They wept not only for their loss, but for the immeasurable love that Dewi Sri had given them. Batara Guru, watching from afar, fell silent, powerless before the sacred transformation. The once barren fields now flourished with rice, corn, bananas, coconuts, palms, fruits, and tubers, an eternal gift for humanity. From that day on, Dewi Sri no longer lived in human form, but her spirit remained in every grain of rice, every harvest, and every prayer of gratitude whispered by the people of the earth. Time passed, and the miracle of Dewi Sri spread from one village to another. People began to cultivate rice, corn, coconuts, bananas, and root crops that were born from the body of the goddess. These plants grew abundantly, bringing new life to the Javanese people who had once suffered from hunger. They realized that Dewi Sri's sacrifice was not only for one family or one village, but for all humankind. Since then, rice became a sacred symbol of purity and prosperity. Rice was kept with deep reverence in the barns, never allowed to be wasted or stepped on. Whenever grains of rice fell, parents gently reminded their children to pick them up, saying softly, "That is Dewi Sri, do not let her be neglected." From this custom, respect for food grew into an important part of Javanese culture. Not only at home, but respect for Dewi Sri was also shown in the fields. Every planting and harvest season, villagers held special rituals with offerings of flowers, incense, and food. Prayers were recited so that Dewi Sri would continue to bless their crops. They believed that as long as people respected rice and gave thanks for the earth's blessings, Dewi Sri would always protect them from famine and disaster. In every village, the story of Dewi Sri lived on through various traditions. Rice barns were treated as sacred spaces, and some families even made small dolls from rice stalks called Sri Rajiki, a symbol of Dewi Sri's presence in their homes. Through this, they believed that fortune would always flow, and the earth would remain fertile. Time continued to flow, but Dewi Sri was never forgotten. She was remembered not only as a heavenly princess who sacrificed herself, but also as a mother of life. Every time people planted rice, harvested bananas, tapped palm sap, or unearthed root crops from the soil, they were receiving the eternal love of Dewi Sri. From that moment on, Dewi Sri lived not in physical form, but in the soul and tradition of the Javanese people. Every grain of rice eaten was her gift of love, every harvest festival a celebration of her life, and every prayer of gratitude a remembrance of her sacrifice. Dewi Sri had indeed left her mortal form, but she never truly disappeared. She lived eternally in every human life. The people realized that although Dewi Sri's body had vanished, her essence lived eternally. Each rice stalk swaying in the fields was her breath, each golden grain her tears, each harvest her blessing. Farmers bowed their heads in gratitude before planting and harvesting, believing that without respect for Dewi Sri, their crops would wither. From generation to generation, rituals were held to honor her, Sadika Bumi and Selametan, where farmers offered their first rice harvest to Dewi Sri. Women carried woven baskets filled with rice, coconuts, and fruits, placing them at the edge of the fields. Heil incense smoke spiraled to the sky, carrying prayers of thanks. For the Javanese people, Dewi Sri was not only the goddess of rice but also the eternal mother who nurtured her children with love. Every meal of rice on the table was believed to be a blessing from her. Mothers often told their children not to waste rice, for each grain was the embodiment of Dewi Sri's sacrifice. Temples, rice barns, and even small shrines were often adorned with her image. Beautiful, serene, holding a rice stalk in one hand. She was always depicted as graceful, her smile gentle, her presence radiating calmness and fertility. Every season, people prayed for her blessing so the land remained fertile and the harvest abundant. And so, dear friends, this is how Dewi Sri lives eternally in the hearts of her people. She is not just a goddess but a symbol of gratitude, sacrifice, and love that binds humanity with nature. Each time you eat rice, remember, inside that grain lives the soul of Dewi Sri, who gave everything so that humankind would never starve. Thank you for following this story until the end. Always remember to be grateful, and please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing so that more people can feel the blessings from these meaningful stories. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Origin start Mount Merapi. The wrath of the gods and the curse of eternal fire. Do you know? The island of Java that we stepped this, previously almost sink because the weight no balanced? The gods in heaven agreed for lower a mountain big as balance. However, who thought decision that culminating in battle tragic between humans and gods, until born Mount Merapi, the mountain fire that is not one sleep. This is the story that makes we late from beginning until end. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you for we all. Best wishes for we all. Hopefully friends all always given health, abundant sustenance, and a blessed life. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel so that the legendary stories of the archipelago continue. Can we return together? This time, I will bring a legend story from land Java. An untold story only alluring with the magic of the gods, but also full with wisdom about harmony nature, humans, and power sky. This is story origin start Mount Merapi. A mountain that is still active stand magnificent until day this. Java Island in the past is not peaceful and fertile land as we know now. At the moment that, the land looks uneven, as if tilted to the side direction south. Western part of the island so heavy until pressing earth, while part east lifted like the boat was rocking. That thing make earth shaking, sea water overflowing, and the people living on it life in fear. They often feel land shiver without because the rice fields are cracked, and the houses rickety collapse hit by the earthquake that came suddenly. In heaven, the gods notice condition this with full concern. From the throne its gold, Batara Guru saw the island of Java tilting like a leaf dry on the water. The gods each other look, face they show anxiety. If left unchecked, Java Island can sinking, and the humans who live on it will disappear. The gods not want to lost the creations they love. So Batara Guru ordered that all God gather in a supreme court. In hearing that, Batara Guru stood with authority, his voice echoing, as if splitting thunder space. Java Island this no balanced, he said. Part the west too heavy, while part east lifted. If this left alone, island this will sink to sea. We have to quick look for method balance it out. The gods whispering, some nodding agree. There are also those who disagree exchange opinion. However one thing for sure, all agreed that Java Island must save. After debate long, Batara Guru lifted his hand, giving sign for all silence. There is one way, he said firmly. We need lower a mountain giant as balancer. Mountain that will placed in the middle of Java Island, so that the land no tilted again. Atmosphere silence changed become boisterous. The gods speechless, fascinated at a time impressed will wisdom Batara Guru. However appear questioned, which mountain is enough? Strong for become balance? A god old, Batara Narada, advanced to front. With her soft voice but full belief he said, Mountain Jamerdapa, mountain that at the bottom the South Sea, big and sturdy. When moved, it will capable balancing the island of Java. All I looked at Narada, then turn around to Batara Guru. Ruler heaven that nod steady. Right. Mountain Jamerdapa is choice best. Then I ordered the god of Bayu, the ruler wind, for move mountain that from sea going to mainland Java. At the bottom South Sea, hidden a confidential big that is not all creature brave approach him. That, where stand magnificent a mountain giant named Mountain Jamerdapa. Mountain this no mountain normal. He is support supernatural ocean, surrounded vortex of violent current, and guarded by creatures fine residence ocean. The peak no appears on the surface, but his aura makes sea water passionate every time someone dares approaching. Since thousands year, mountain that become part from balanced natural universe, until finally the fate of Java Island create the gods glance at him. Batara Guru, in his wisdom, know right that only mountain as big as Jamerdapa which is capable balance the tilted island of Java. He called God Bayu, the ruler wind. The mighty God mighty this own strength awesome. Very awesome his breath capable shake sky, breaking clouds and blows ocean. Batara Guru looked at him with spotlight eyes sharp. Bayu, it's time for you to use it your strength. Lift mountain Jamerdapa from South Sea and place it in the middle of Java Island. Without lot speak, God of nodded respect. He then down from heaven, soaring fast penetrate layer clouds, until his body like splitting lightning sky. When he arrive at the top South Sea, ocean turbulent, waves towering high, wind roaring, and the inhabitants sea shiver witness the arrival of the god. Sound the wind echoed. I come on order Batara Guru. Today Mountain Jamurdipa will lift it going to mainland Java. With one taking a deep breath, God have exerted his strength. He blow wind great awesome to base sea. The sea water split, the rolls wave push to left and right, showing base dark ocean. Mountain Jamurdipa start shaking, the ground around it cracks, corals broke, and the whirlpool lit up with light strange. The spirits guard sea shout fight. Try withhold mountains so as not to lift it, but too much wind strong. Little by little, the mountain Jamurdipa start lifted. Its embedded base in mud see off from the bond. The shock that felt until to mainland Java make man panic because land swaying. The ocean seemed to be want to swallow sky. Waves as high as he'll hit beach make coastal forests collapsed. However, God did not care. He keep going blow with full power, up to finally peak Mountain Jamurdipa appear from water surface, towering to sky with splendor outside normal. View that make all over universe enchanted. Mountain Jamurdipa now lifted full, floating in the air blessing strength wind of the god of Bayu. Black clouds revolving around it, lightning snatching, and the sea rumbling not controlled. The gods who observe from heaven nod satisfied. Stage first has successful. However, the journey Mountain Jamurdipa not yet finished. He must quick placed on land Java, at the very center for Balance Island can achieve. However, the gods know that at the location placement mountain there are two people the middle power busy with his work. Two Empus carries maker, Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi, sitting in front fireplace eternal. Forge a carries that is believed to be will become heirloom big later. Fireplace that light up continuously. No one's blackout even though rain heavy or wind fast. Second Empu that no realize that a moment again, the sky will shaken by the presence ready mountain dropped right above they. At the foot of a quiet hill, far away from hustle and bustle humans, there are a hermitage small place of two Empus magic undergo their life. They is Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi, brother fellow student whose name is fragrant until to remote areas of the country. Second Empu this know only clever and make weapons, but also understand confidential nature, prayer, and knowledge supernatural. They known as guard balance, because every carries he makes no just weapons, but rather own soul and strength that are capable influence journey kingdoms big on the ground Java. At night that, second Empu middle busy with work the biggest them. A powerful carries in the future will become heirloom main for the destined great king lead land Javanese. The carries not yet finished, still in the form of a blade metal red smoldering beaten repeatedly by hammer they. Every bang metal blend with the ancient spells they pronounce, so that every blow no only form iron, but also implants strength supernatural in it. The fire of the hearth splash. Ignite shadow second the dancing Empu on the wall workshop they. The carries they made were not can abandon so only. According to teachings ancestors, leaving behind a blade heirloom magic before finish the same just with open door for disaster big. The soul of the carries can anger. Unused energy perfect can explode and curse anyone who is negligent. That's it why second Empu still stay in place that, although they feel existence shock great in heaven and earth. For the task forging a carries far away more important than whatever. Temporary that, from heaven, the gods has decided that Mountain Jamurdipa will placed right on location hermitage second Empu. Batara Guru thinks that point that is the most ideal center for balancing Java Island. Without know who lives there, the gods already set destiny. However, the spirit more nature-wise know that will there is collision big. Between the will of the gods and constancy the hearts of two Empus who are not want to leave his work. Emperor Rama who is more old, hairy white long and beard dense, stop for a moment hit iron. He turn around to his younger brother, Empu Pamadi, whose face more young and in the spotlight his eyes sharp. My little brother, he said with voice heavy. You feel shocked this? As if sky want to drop something to ennui. Empu Pamadi nodded, but his hands still work. I feel it. But whatever happens, we know may stop. This carries must finish. If we leave, disaster will overwrite man. Both of them then return work, as if the outside world no means compared to tasks sacred that they shoulder strap. However, at the moment simultaneously, sounds supernatural from space echoed. It is the voice of the gods speaking through wind. O Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi, leave it place this. We want a lower mountain big as balancing Java Island. If you don't go, you will bury. Voice that's so strong. But second Empu still bow down to their work. They know, even though the gods powerful, the carries they forge is promise holy to earth. Empu Rama then shouting, his voice thunderous even though only a man. O gods, listen. We do not will go before this carry's finished. This carry's no ours, but owned by the earth and the humans that will take care of it. If you lower at the mountain here, then let us die with him. But we don't will leave our duty. Those words echoing until to the sky, making the gods in Kahyangan surprised. Nothing brave man reject order they, except for two Empus magic this. Empu Pamadi add in a sharp tone. We don't trembling. Even if all over God heaven come, we will still survive. This carries must finished, and fireplace this no may, it's out. He said, make fireplace as if enlarged, the flame blazing until through the roof of the hut simple they. Supernatural aura start envelop place that, making it fortress for determination they. Strength the determination of two Empus that until to Batara Guru in heaven. He hear rejection that in her face become dark. However he know direct angry. He know human this know carelessly. They is the chosen one who gets blessing earth. Therefore he decide for send two gods to earth. The wise Batara Narada and Batara Penurikan for persuade second Empu to leave place that. Sky afternoon that sudden split. Cloud white roll like curtain large open from heaven. Two figures shining down slowly. Step by step they not touch land, but rather as if stepping on the hanging light from heaven. They is Batara Narada, the great advisor, and Batara Penurikan, the gallant messenger mighty. Face both of them look serious, full authority, carrying unspoken orders may deny. Decree from Batara Guru himself. Presence they make wind in the forest rustling slowly. Birds stop chirping, and the earth as if holding breath. Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi in the middle busy in front fireplace look up head. The burning fire make face they blushing, sweating streaming down the temples, but eye they still shady. So see two gods present before they. Both Empu quick get up, bow down respect, and double hands. Although attitude they full respect, know there is fear in the eyes they. Empu Rama said with voice heavy however softly, our greetings to the gods. Are perhaps the one who brought you down from heaven? Narada said decree Batara Guru so that they quick leave place that, because the land where they stand will made into buffer for Java Island. Hear that, Empu Pamadi stepped forward. Spotlight his eyes clear however full confidence. Your Majesty, we understand will Batara Guru, he said. However, we do not can leave place this before the carries we forged finished. Heirloom this no just weapons, but rather balance between the human world and heaven. If we go now, heirloom this will defective, and that will bring in disaster. Sayings that make Narada's face harden. He lift hand, pointing to sky, and suddenly lightning to strike, to shake the surrounding trees. Sound thunder rumbling, marking difficult anger damned. Extraction already holding the sphere of light, ready force when need. However, Empu Rama remained firm. He's staring at Narada without tremble. Then look at fire blazing in the furnace fireplace. Look fire this, he said. He is witness our promise. As long as fire this on, we don't will stop forge it. Leave work this the same with betray our oath to earth. Fire seemed to hear saying that. Blaze the red suddenly enlarged. Tongues fire towering high. Dancing wildly to Pallet Cave. From behind light that, silhouette second Empu looks sturdy, as if strength earth and nature middle take sides they. Second god each other looked at each other. Narada held back anger. while Extraction already ready stepped forward. But Empu Pamadi returned said with voice loudly, "If the gods want to force, then let it be fire this become witness that we do not give up. We are more willing perish together our work, rather than leave our oath as half-road." The air seemed tense, leaves stopped moving, and sound natural disappeared replaced bang-beating heart the more fast. In one side standing of the gods with light sky enveloped body they. On the other side stood two Empus with fireplace lit up behind him. When that, the world seems weight explosion big. The battle that never happened can again avoid it. Sky sudden blackening. Clouds rolling in fast, lightning snatch without stop, and earth shiver as if feel wave anger from heaven. Batara Narada lifted his hands, light dazzling gushing from palm, while Batara Penurikan one step with a luminous spear that emits luster like sun published. From the other side, Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi stand sturdy. They know God, but from body they radiate the power that was born from earth, fire, and forged metal with sincerity soul. The world becomes witness. Fight between heaven and earth naught can avoid it again. With screams loud, Extraction jump to front, the spear stab air, release flashlight that hits land. Explosion big happened, land split, dust steaming high. However Empu Rama stomped the hammer to the rock, channeling power in what makes cracks land united back. The fire of the fireplace behind him enlarged, then incarnate become vortex heat that drives away attack light. Pamadi not stay silent. He swing his hands, and from in fireplace gliding embers of fire that materialized like child arrow burning, penetrating darkness sky. Narada was shocked for a moment see the courage of the Empus, but quick he cupped second his hand. From the palm his hands born light white the golden incarnation become giant Garuda bird, flapping wing until windstorm whack all over forest. Trees uprooted, stones flying, but the Empus still firm. Empu Pamadi squat, stick his hands to land. Then from in earth appear a row of stone spears blocking the way the speed of the Garuda of light that. Empu Rama with his hammer, hit one of the stones until explode become fractions sharp, overtaking and penetrating the wings of the Garuda up to broken become the light goes out. Battle the more heating up. Extraction wag his spear, and the flashlight shoot to direction fireplace. The fire is almost out, but Empu Rama immediately grabbed the coals with hand empty. His hands smoky, the skin blistered, but he holding the coals as if holding life. With strength lastly, he throw the coals to the air. The coals split flashlight Extraction, then fall return to fireplace and make it light up more big. During fire this live, shouted Rama. Our spirit is not will, it's out. Pamadi then connect, distribute power inside to the coals until transform into a fire dragon red on. Shooting to direction Extraction. Dragon fire that raging, wrapped around the spear of Penurikan, making it almost let go from grip. Extraction try hard, sweat pouring, his face tense. Narada immediately down hand, waving his hand and called rain heavy from sky for extinguish the fire dragon. Rain pouring down, but miraculously fire that not extinguished. In fact, the dragon enlarged, his body burning like mountain walking. Lightning thunderous shouting in response, fire dragon roar, and the earth vibrate. The Empus standing under it, hands lifted, power and they blend with spirit earth, guarding the dragon's still life. Narada was silent for a moment. In his heart, he impressed to the determination of two people mortal that they know own strength heaven, but courage, loyalty, and steadfastness heart make they capable oppose strength sky. However task stay assignment. With voice loud he exclaimed, "Enough! You humans, don't challenge sky. If you continue, if you resist, you will be destroyed." But Empu Pamadi only smiling, his face calmed down. "We don't challenge sky," he said slowly, "we just keep our promise." Speech that echoing, more sharp than weapon whatever. In heaven, Batara Guru sat on his throne, his usual face shady now covered wrath. Sound thunder echoing without stop, as if the sky follows too angry. The gods gathered around, atmosphere silent. Know there are those who dare open voice. Batara Guru raised his hand, pointing to direction Earth, where the fight between Narada, Penurikan, and the second Empu is still going on. You see, his voice thundered. Two humans mortal brave against decree heaven. They win oppose envoy we. However that no victory. That insult to sky. His words split air heaven. Make all over creature heavenly bow down. Batara Narada who returned from earth bowed down in his body still smeared dust battle. Mercy sire, he said with voice heavy. Strength second Empu that born from unwavering determination usual. They know against sky. They only holding on to the oath and the fire they guard. For a moment, Batara Guru was silent. However then his eyes on. Full uncontrollable anger can again suppressed. Determination they know more from vanity human. If the sky give decree, earth must submit. If not, then earth will destroy. He shouted, making floor heaven shiver. Batara Guru then standing, stick his power stomping floor, take out towering light until penetrate sky. God of wind, he exclaimed, loud. From a distance, the figure tall muscular with body shining green-bluish appears. The steps as if bring storm. He is ruler wind, controller storm, which once blowing just can demolish mountains and splits ocean. The god Bayu bowed respect in front of Batara Guru. Order sire, he said, his voice rumbling like thousand storms. Take the mountain Jamerdapa from South Sea, decreed Batara Guru with voice like rumbling thunder. Bring the mountain that, and drop it on top head second hard Empu head that. Let it be they know, angry sky not can opposed. From the embers they guard, so be it born crater eternal, as warning for brave man oppose heaven. Atmosphere silence. The gods looking down, terrified hear punishment as big as that. Narada wanted to talk, but you rung, no. Angry Batara Guru has not can prevent it again. The god of wind steps go. Every his steps make wind noisy blowing in heaven. Arriving at the edge South Sea, he's standing on top turbulent waves. Mountain Jamerdapa towering majestic in the middle ocean. The peak-covered fog mysterious. The god of Bayu develops his hand, then take a deep breath. When he exhale his breath, the wind storm turn tight, forming vortex giant. Mountain Jamerdapa shaking, sea turbulent, and slowly mountain that lifted, released from base ocean. Waves going crazy, the fish were thrown to air. Sky shaken by the awesomeness strength that. Mountain Jamerdapa now floating high. Carried by the vortex the wind of the god of Bayu. His voice thundered. Oh earth, get ready. Wrath sky will fall on top your head. From afar, the Empu sea shadow giant that approaching. Empu Rama stopped forge. His eyes staring dark sky. Empu Pamadi holding his brother's shoulder. His face firm but surrender. Rama, he said softly, maybe here it is end of us. But Rama only smiling, staring at the glowing embers. As long as fire this live, we know once lost. Mountain Jamerdapa floating the more low, the shadow cover valleys and forests, making afternoon as if changed so night. Sound wind storm from god Bayu's wings roared, deafening ear. Under him, Empu Rama and Empu Pamadi still stand sturdy. Fireplace backlit they, the flames dancing oppose darkness. Hair they decompose blown wind, face full sweat, but gaze they not afraid not even a little bit. They know here it is end from fight, end from the oath they swore handheld with all soul. Pamadi, said Rama softly in the middle roar storm, don't afraid, this fire will become inheritance we. Pamadi smiling, holding hammer the iron. My brother, more good we destroyed together oath we, rather than life leave promise. They together then close eye for a moment, absorb hot licking fire body, feel strength flowing earth from the soles of their feet. When that's it, Mount Jamerdapa start fall, slowly but sure, like sky collapse hit earth. Its vibrations already felt, ground rattling, trees fall, animal running around panic. When the peak mountain that almost override they, Empu Rama and Pamadi stomping hammer iron to land simultaneously. From the beat that, fireplace explode to air, transforming into a fire dragon roaring giant oppose falling mountain. Fire dragon that wrapped around side mountain, try withhold fall, but the power of the god of wind is too great big. Wind storm push mountain at the more fast, until finally, bang! Mountain Jamurtapa fall right above second Empu. Explosion great awesome happened. Fire, rocks and smoke rose tall penetrate sky, deafening ears, make earth shaking throughout island. When the dust starts subside, in place fall mountain that looks crater giants that still lit up. From inside crater white smoke coming out concentrated mixed fire red that is not visit blackout. People then realize that that is fireplace eternal. The fire of old guarded by Emperor Rama and Pamadi. The fire is not once blackout even after body they buried under mountain. From their mountain that then known as Mount Merapi. Mountain continuous fire vomit content stomach earth. As if speak out the oath of two empress that cannot be once destroyed by time. The god Bayu stood in the distance. His face not again arrogant, but sad. He know his duties has finished. But inside his heart there is admiration deep in two willing humans perish for the sake of oath. Narada, who witnessed from sky, subduing head, whisper prayer for the soul second emperor rest calm down. Batara Guru, even though his anger has implemented, in his heart also understands. Human know only creature weak, but also a store fire unwavering determination can extinguish so just. Since moment that, Mount Merapi became symbol of two things. Wrath sky and determination human. Every the eruption of Merapi is echo from hammer Emperor Rama and Pamadi. Every spray fire is dragon tongue that they create. And every lava flow is blood and oath those who don't once black out. Javanese society believe, Merapi is not just mountains, but rather bridge between the human world with heaven, place spirits big guard balance earth. Thus the legend of origin start Mount Merapi. From the oath of two loyal empress until end. From wrath Batara Guru, and from blowing the mighty god of wind was born mountain the most powerful volcano in Java. Until now, every time Merapi rumbles, the people believe that his voice fire eternal of Rama and Pamadi. Two brave humans staring sky with a firm chest. End of story. This is reminder that promises and loyalty can become strength as big as fire eternal. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out left behind another legendary story. Hopefully we all always given health, strength, and steadfastness heart like Emperor Rama and Empu Pamadi. Until see you in the next legendary story. Thank you and wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Legend of Lutung Kasarung. The Curse of the Heavenly Prince. Have you ever heard the tale of a heavenly prince cursed into the form of a black monkey, who descended to earth for love and devotion? This is the timeless legend of Lutung Kasarung, a story woven with tears, betrayal, and the power of true love that shakes the soul. Once you begin listening, you will find it impossible to stop until the very end. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello dear friends, may you always be blessed with health, long life, and endless prosperity. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing, so that more people can uncover the wisdom hidden in these timeless legends. Today, we embark on a magical journey into one of the greatest tales from West Java. The legendary story of Lutung Kasarung. A tale of betrayal, sacrifice, and true love that will touch your heart and leave you breathless until the very end. Let's dive into this unforgettable legend together. Long ago, in a fertile and beautiful land known as Tanapasundan, there lived a legend that has been passed down through generations. It is the tale of Lutung Kasarung, a story rich with meaning, about love, loyalty, punishment, and forgiveness. This legend is not merely a bedtime tale, but a mirror of life itself, teaching that every mistake brings consequences, yet goodness can still blossom when the heart remains pure. It is told that in the heavenly realm, there once lived a handsome prince named Songyang Guraminda. He was a noble son of the gods, brave, wise, and dignified. However, because of a great mistake, he was deemed to have violated the laws of heaven. The celestial rulers then cast judgment upon him. Songyang Guraminda was banished to earth, trapped in the form of a lutung, a black monkey. though stripped of his honor, his soul remained pure and noble. In his new form, Songyang Guraminda became a Lutung, a black-furred monkey with a long tail and eyes filled with sorrow. He fell from heaven to earth, landing deep within a dense forest. Lost and without direction, he came to be known as Lutung Kasarung. In the Sundanese language, Kasarung means lost or strayed, and thus the name clung to him. Yet even within the body of a monkey, Guraminda still carried the heart and soul of a prince. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Pasir Badong, there lived a wise and noble king named Prabu Tapa Agung. His age had grown advanced, and his body had become frail, so he spent most of his days within the palace. He was always accompanied by his beloved queen, a graceful and patient woman who cared for him with deep affection. The king knew that his time to rule would soon come to an end, and he had to decide who would succeed him on the throne. Prabu Tapa Agung and the queen were blessed with 7 daughters but not a single crown prince. 5 of the princesses had already married princes from neighboring kingdoms, leaving only 2 daughters still residing in the palace. Princess Purburang, who was proud and arrogant, and Princess Purbasari, who was gentle and kind-hearted. The king pondered carefully over who was most worthy to take his place, for the fate of the Pasir Badong kingdom depended on this very decision. After long contemplation, Prabu Tapa Agung finally decided to appoint Princess Purbasari as his successor to the throne of Pasir Badong. He announced his decision to all the royal family and noble officials. They welcomed it with great approval and praised the king's wisdom. However, not everyone rejoiced. Princess Purburang grew envious and furious, believing that she was the one most deserving to inherit the throne. Her anger was fueled by her fiancé, Raden Indrajaya, who secretly, Princess Purburang believed that as the eldest daughter, she was far more entitled to inherit the throne of the kingdom of Pasir Badong. To her, becoming queen was not just about honor, but also about wealth and power. She could not accept the idea that her younger sister, Princess Purbasari, a gentle and humble girl, would take her place. Envy burned within her heart, especially since her fiancé, Raden Indrajaya, also harbored great ambition. As the son of a royal minister, he fully supported Purburang, hoping that together they would one day rule the kingdom. However, all of their dreams were shattered, for King Tapa Agung's decision was final. Princess Purbasari would be the heir to the throne. Unable to accept this fate and consumed by jealousy, Princess Purburang chose a deceitful path. She was determined to sabotage her sister's coronation as queen. Burning with anger, she secretly left the palace to meet a notorious sorceress known for her cruelty. The old woman's name was Ni Rond, an evil shaman who would do anything for a great reward. Her wrinkled face, piercing eyes, and terrifying aura could strike fear into anyone who crossed her path. Without hesitation, Purburang begged Ni Rond to eliminate her sister, Purbasari, so that she could reclaim her right to the throne. The spell cast by Ni Rond was truly terrifying. In just one night, Princess Purbasari was struck by a dreadful curse in the form of a disgusting skin disease. Her entire face, body, and even her feet were covered with festering blisters and sores. The disease emitted a foul odor. No healer in the kingdom could cure her. Everyone gave up. After that, Princess Purburang came before King Tapa Agung. Together with Raden Indrajaya, she persuaded the king to exile Princess Purbasari into the forest. According to Purburang and Indrajaya, it was impossible for Purbasari to replace her father as ruler. In Purburang's view, Purbasari was unworthy to be queen because she was only the youngest daughter. Purburang insisted that she alone deserved the throne of Pasir Badong as the eldest princess. She argued that Purbasari's condition must surely be a curse, and that it was against the traditions of kingdoms from ancient times, where the throne should always go to the eldest child, never the youngest. Thanks to the cunning words of Purburang and Raden Indrajaya, King Tapa Agung and the queen consort were finally swayed. Princess Purbasari was then exiled to the forest. The king and queen were heartbroken. Purbasari was their most beloved daughter because of her manners, intelligence, and kindness. Now she had to leave, cast away into a wilderness full of wild beasts. Yet King Tapa Gung felt he had no choice. Perhaps Purbarang's words were true. If Purbasari was indeed cursed, she had to be kept away from the palace and the kingdom. Her disease could even be contagious and endanger the people of Pasir Badong. To his trusted advisor, Uwak Batara Lengsar, King Prabu Tapa Gung entrusted Princess Purbasari to be exiled into the forest outside the Pasir Badong kingdom. He asked Uwak Batara Lengsar to build a sturdy yet simple hut for the princess. And so it was. Princess Purbasari was left deep within a dense forest, far away from the palace. Wherever a kind-hearted person resides, no matter what they look like, they will be accepted by their surroundings. So it was with Princess Purbasari. Living in the forest made her close and familiar with the animals. No wild beast ever harmed her. Instead, they always protected her. She never went hungry, for a variety of fruits and tubers were provided by her animal friends. One of the animals that most often brought food to Princess Purbasari was a lutung, who was none other than Lutung Kasarung, the incarnation of Songyang Giraminda. This lutung could speak and treated her with great kindness. Not only did he bring her food, but his mannerisms always caught her attention, and he loyally followed her wherever she went. With this lutung by her side, Princess Purbasari never felt lonely. One day, Princess Purbasari grew so homesick for her father, King Prabu Tapa Gung, that she wept bitterly, lamenting the skin disease that made others believe she was cursed. Hearing her cries, Lutung Kasarung realized who she truly was. He slipped away quietly, praying earnestly to the Almighty to grant healing for the princess. By Songyang Giraminda's prayer, a small magical lake was created. Lutung Kasarung quickly returned to find Princess Purbasari still weeping in her sorrow for her father. The lutung then spoke and asked Princess Purbasari to bathe and immerse herself in a small lake. Princess Purbasari was, of course, astonished to discover that Lutung Kasarung could speak like a human. This miracle made it easier for Lutung Kasarung to convince her to step into the water. Deep in her heart, Princess Purbasari believed that this black, long-tailed monkey was no ordinary creature. Surely, he had been sent by the Almighty to help her. And it was true. After bathing and immersing herself in the clear waters of the small lake, the disgusting skin disease with its foul odor vanished completely. There was no trace left on her face or body to show that she had ever been ill. In fact, her skin became fresher, brighter, and smoother than before. Her naturally beautiful face, once marred by disease, now shone with even greater radiance. Princess Purbasari was overjoyed. She gave thanks to the lutung and to the Almighty. At the palace of Pasir Badong Kingdom, King Prabu Tapa Gung and the Queen, who deeply longed for Princess Purbasari, finally commanded the palace maidens to check on her condition. When they arrived at the forest where Princess Purbasari had been exiled, the maidens were astonished to see that she had completely recovered from her dreadful skin disease. They comforted her and persuaded her to return to the palace. At first, Princess Purbasari refused, but after hearing how much her father, King Prabu Tapa Gung, missed her, she finally agreed. Accompanied by Lutung Kasarung, Princess Purbasari returned to the palace of Pasir Badong with the maidens. Princess Purbasari's return to the palace was warmly welcomed by King Prabu Tapa Gung. But the opposite was true for Princess Purbarang and Prince Raden Indrajaya. Both of them felt their positions were threatened. As expected, King Prabu Tapa Gung announced that the royal throne would soon be handed over to Princess Purbasari. Princess Purbarang then raised her objection. She presented a condition to King Tapa Gung. She wanted to hold a cooking contest. If Princess Purbasari could defeat her in preparing dishes, she would willingly allow her sister to become queen. But if she won, then she would rightfully claim the throne of Pasir Badong. King Tapa Gung agreed to Purbarang's request, and thus the cooking contest between Purbarang and Purbasari was declared. Princess Purbarang, assisted by her loyal servants, began cooking with great speed. Flames roared from the clay stoves, and pots and pans clattered as she worked. The dishes she prepared looked delicious, steaming hot with fragrant aromas spreading across the palace hall. those who witnessed were astonished at her skill and confidence. Meanwhile, Princess Purvasari struggled. She worked alone, slicing ingredients slowly with trembling hands, but her heart remained patient and sincere. Seeing her hardship, Lutung Kasarung silently prayed to the Almighty for help. A moment of stillness passed, until suddenly a soft golden light descended, illuminating Purvasari with a divine glow. Then, celestial maidens and fairies descended unseen to aid Princess Purvasari. To everyone's eyes, she seemed to cook alone, but in truth, the heavenly beings surrounded her, gracefully preparing food. They sprinkled secret spices from the heavens into her dishes, flavors no earthly seasoning could ever match. Finally, when the judges tasted the dishes prepared by both Purbarang and Purvasari, the outcome was undeniable. Though Purbarang's dishes were fragrant and looked exquisite, Purvasari's food was unmatched, infused with heavenly flavors. The judges declared Purvasari the winner. The hall erupted in cheers, while Purbarang's face burned with anger and jealousy. Princess Purbarang was furious. She thought she would surely win the cooking contest. Refusing to admit defeat, she demanded another competition. This time, a contest of who had the longest and most beautiful hair. Out of patience and fairness, King Tapa Agung agreed to grant her a second chance. Princess Purvasari, however, was not afraid in the slightest, even though she knew her sister's hair was much longer than hers. Indeed, when Princess Purbarang untied her hair bun, her glossy black hair cascaded down beautifully, reaching her calves. It shimmered under the dim lights of oil lamps and torches. Everyone in the palace gasped in admiration. A triumphant smile spread across Purbarang's face, certain that victory was hers this time. But Lutung Kasarung once again prayed earnestly to the Almighty. His prayer was answered. Before Princess Purvasari loosened her bun, celestial fairies and maidens descended, shimmering faintly with golden light. They worked swiftly and delicately, extending her hair strand by strand. What was once only waist length now flowed down to her heels, darker, shinier, and far more beautiful than Purbarang's. When Princess Purvasari finally released her bun, the crowd gasped in astonishment. Her hair flowed luxuriously to the floor, black, lustrous, and more enchanting than her sister's. Cheers of admiration filled the hall. Purbarang, unable to hide her fury and humiliation, clenched her fists in rage. Once again, she had lost to her younger sister. Yet, stubborn and untrustworthy as ever, Princess Purbarang refused to accept the result. Consumed with frustration, she demanded a third contest. This time, King Tapa Agung's expression hardened. He declared firmly that the third contest would be the last. Purbarang, in her rage, swore an oath. If she lost again, she would willingly accept execution, and the throne of Pasir Batong would belong entirely to Princess Purvasari. The king accepted her vow. It turned out that Princess Purbarang demanded another contest. This time, a competition of handsomeness between their fiancés. Everyone present in the royal court was stunned. Surely, this would be an easy victory for Purbarang. Raden Indrajaya, her betrothed, was known as the most handsome young man in the entire kingdom of Pasir Batong. No one in the land could rival his good looks. Princess Purbarang then stepped forward gracefully, her hand clutching that of Raden Indrajaya. A sly smile of triumph curved across her face, her eyes gleaming with cunning. She was absolutely certain that all of Pasir Batong would soon belong to her. Mockingly, she sneered at Princess Purvasari, pointing out that the ugly black monkey who always followed her everywhere, Lutung Kasarung, was supposedly her fiancé. The court erupted in laughter at the cruel taunt. Princess Purvasari felt her heart tighten, not knowing what to do. All eyes were fixed on her. At that moment, Lutung Kasarung leaned close and whispered softly, urging her to hold his hand and step forward. Gathering her courage, Purvasari reached out and clasped Lutung Kasarung's hand. Together they walked forward, approaching Purbarang and Raden Indrajaya at the center of the hall. The court gasped in disbelief. Purvasari's fiancé was none other than an ugly monkey? Whispers of pity and ridicule spread throughout the chamber. Yet this moment of shame lasted only for an instant. For as Lutung Kasarung stood side by side with Raden Indrajaya, his form began to glow with divine radiance. The curse upon him was lifted. Before everyone's eyes, the monkey form dissolved, revealing his true self. Songyang Guraminda, a celestial being of incomparable beauty. Now freed from the curse, Songyang Guraminda stood tall and proud, his beauty surpassing all mortals. His presence dimmed the charm of Raden Indrajaya instantly. Compared to Guraminda's divine radiance, Indrajaya's handsomeness seemed ordinary, even dull. The audience erupted in thunderous applause, celebrating Princess Purbasari's unexpected triumph. Purbararang and Raden Indrajaya stood frozen, their faces pale with shock. The situation had turned completely 180 degrees in an instant. The tables had turned against Purbararang and her fiancé. Shame and defeat filled their hearts as they realized their downfall. The law of the kingdom awaited them, death by execution for their treachery and deceit. Their arrogant laughter had vanished, replaced by trembling fear, while Princess Purbasari stood gracefully as the rightful queen of Pasir Batong. However, because of Princess Purbasari's kind heart, the death sentence awaiting Princess Purbararang and Raden Indrajaya was never carried out. With her gentle spirit, Purbasari chose to forgive her sister and her fiancé sincerely. She calmly said that vengeance would never bring goodness to the kingdom. Everyone in the royal hall fell silent, deeply moved by the princess's extraordinary compassion. King Prabhu Tapagang was overwhelmed with joy and emotion. Tears welled in his eyes as he witnessed his daughter's wisdom and kindness. In his heart, he was certain that entrusting the throne to Princess Purbasari was the right decision. A true leader is not judged only by beauty or power, but by wisdom and sincerity of heart. At last, Princess Purbasari was crowned the rightful queen of the kingdom of Pasir Batong. Songyang Guraminda, handsome and noble, remained faithfully by her side as her life companion. Together, they ruled wisely, justly, and with great love. Under their reign, Pasir Batong flourished, peaceful, prosperous, and filled with joy. The people lived happily, forever remembering the miraculous tale of Lutung Kasarung. From that day onward, Purbasari and Songyang Guraminda lived happily ever after in the kingdom of Pasir Batong. Their names were remembered through the ages as symbols of patience, sacrifice, and everlasting kindness. The legend of Lutung Kasarung was passed down from generation to generation, becoming an eternal story in the land of Sunda. And so, we come to the end of the legendary story of Lutung Kasarung. From this tale, we learn that kindness, patience, and sincerity will always overcome jealousy, hatred, and arrogance. Princess Purbasari reminds us that a true leader is not defined by beauty or position, but by wisdom, compassion, and the ability to forgive. May this story inspire us all to live with kindness, to forgive others, and to always believe that truth and goodness will ultimately prevail. Thank you for watching and staying with us until the very end. May you always be blessed with good health, happiness, and prosperity in your life. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so that more people can enjoy and learn from these meaningful folk tales of the Nusantara. See you in the next legendary story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.